Thank you, Eshamomoy Mudu and to Jesu Adoye for that conversation. Now, back in Lagos, it's time now to bring you updates and stories that are trending now. And Olamide Odekunle is standing by to bring us up to speed. Good morning, Olamide.
Good morning.
How are you doing today? Very well, thank you.
I've got some good stories for you. I'm going to take it away.
Right.
Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the street. And we do our best to bring trending stories from Nigeria and across the world over here to have some decent dialogue about it. In our first story, the Edo State government says it is preparing to take legal action against the neo-black movement, also known as Black Acts, following a surge in cult-related violence and killings across the state. In a statement that was issued on Monday by Fred Itua, the chief press secretary to Governor Monday Okpebolo, the government said it had begun legal consultations to hold this group accountable. Now, this decision, according to the statement, follows public comments made by the self-proclaimed leaders of the cult group, who have not only identified themselves, but also openly criticized the recent demolition of a building allegedly tied to their operations in Edo State. The controversy took another twist when the group claimed that it renovated 6 public schools in Edo State since Governor Okpebolo came into office. But the state government is not buying this, and they're now demanding full transparency from Black Acts. They're asking the group to name the schools, show proof of the renovations, and provide any government-issued letters of approval or partnership. The response has also been swift and loud on the streets. On the same day, youths from across Edo State stormed the Edo State government house, demanding an end to cult killings, growing drug abuse, and the recruitment of young people into violent groups in the state. Take a look.
The killings is too much. Yeah. Tired, we are tired with the fight. We are tired with the killings. We are tired with the intercommunal abuse. However, you understand how you want to do it, the policies and initiatives we are coming up with for the development of Edo State. We are standing head to head with you. We are standing
North, Edo Central, Edo South. We are tired of the killing. Yes.
If you ask me now, while these protests are not great to see because of the unrest, I think it shows a really big shift in the cultural mindset of the youth. Whereas a lot of people before used to buy into cultism, you are seeing youth taking a stance against this. About 2 weeks ago, Governor Okpebolo did demolish several buildings that were related to cult activities. And so he's taking a strong stance against the Black Acts. This is a big deal. Let's take a look at social media. Love Israel says, any cultist in Nigeria is supposed to be treated as a terrorist, not legal action. Immediately you are found with an evidence of belonging to any secret cult or confraternity like Black Acts, Norseman, etc. Let's take a look at, we have to name them to shame them. High Chief Emmanuel says, Dear at Okpebolo, don't let cultists hijack your tenor. Set up a special unit to handle the crackdown and report to you. You have got bigger work: education, jobs, roads, and the economy. Don't spend 4 years chasing distractions. Hashtag leadership focus, hashtag Edo State. Say no to cultism. In our next story, while demolitions in Lagos have already brought countless property owners to their knees, a new viral video from Akwa Ibom State is once again raising tough questions about land rights in Nigeria, or the lack thereof. Now, in the emotional clip that is making the rounds on social media, a woman is seen pleading directly to the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Eno, as her home, where she lives with her children, is reportedly marked as government land, and her fear is that her family will soon be homeless if the state follows through with its plan to reclaim her property. Take a look.
Came back there before yesterday. I saw these people writing government land removed. This land was not belong to government. This land was not government land, please. Well, this is my inheritance, please. Come and help me, come and rescue me. With my children, I don't know where I'm going to. They give me a very short notice, please. Please come and help me, Governor. Governor, you are a loving father. You are a loving father, please come and help me.
This woman's cries echo a growing frustration across the country, not just her, where several property owners often find themselves helpless in the face of government power, with often no clear compensation, weak legal protections, and very little notice. And many Nigerians are discovering that owning a home doesn't necessarily mean having a secure future in Nigeria. Though I will say that there are government-owned properties, and while these government actions may be necessary, it's interesting to see how the government plans to handle this tactfully and ethically. Moving on in our next story, I love this one. Could Davido be eyeing a future in politics? Former Senator and media mogul Ben Murray Bruce seems to think so. In a recent video message, he suggested that the music superstar might just have what it takes to become the governor of Osun State one day. Take a look.
Through a personal discussion, perhaps shouldn't be entirely surprising when you consider the DNA of the Adeleke family. His uncle, Senator Ademola Adeleke, is the governor of Osun State. Furthermore, his uncle, Isiaka Adeleke, also served as a former governor of Osun State during Ibrahim Babangida's military administration. Considering all of this, the thought that Davido himself could one day aspire to become the governor of Osun State seems more like a potential trajectory, especially if his political inclination are nurtured and strategically channeled.
As you saw, Ben Murray Bruce pointed to Davido's family's deep political roots. He also called Davido, later on in the video, a political animal and someone with sharp ideological views and a natural connection with the people. And it's a side of the artist that many fans might not see. But Ben Murray Bruce also believes that if his influence is nurtured wisely, Davido could actually tangibly transition from selling out shows to winning elections. This is very, very interesting. It will be interesting to see if Davido can take his celebrity influence and his political legacy and translate that maybe into effective leadership someday. Who knows? Let's take a look at social media. Nigerian says, what is the reason for a 70-year-old man hyping a young man, asking him to venture into politics? And Good Boy says, what do we do with this information? I think it's very important that we have dialogue about the future of Nigerian politics and new ways and metrics in which young people in celebrity influence can come into power. What do you guys think? Davido 2030 something?
OBO for governor.
Interesting. Yes, we've seen an array of entertainers who have been part of politics. Desmond Elliott, of course, is one of them. We've seen an array of them. But why is Ben Murray Bruce hyping Davido? That's even my question. What's happening? Is it trying to gain their attention? What's this whole video about? Because he took his time to be giving us the history of the Adeleke family, and I'm wondering, is he trying to buy their attention, gain something from them? Because Ben Murray Bruce, you have been someone who have been in this terrain for quite some time, and if you need to get the attention of these people, you know how to get that, and not by this video. That's how I see it. So I think the attention is not necessarily about Davido, but Ben Murray Bruce wanting perhaps something, attention from the Adeleke family. But it's an interesting approach that he has taken. Davido 2037, that'll be interesting to see. Anyway, let's move to Akwa Ibom State now, where we see that woman's house being marked for demolition. I often talk about the fact that there are due processes to take if you want to acquire land. And so if that process was followed and her land has been marked, perhaps she could have gone back to these people to say, you know what, I followed due process and this is what is happening. I believe that the government of the government of Akwa Ibom State will be able to respond to her as swiftly as possible. With this video, I also hope they respond swiftly and also address this matter holistically, especially if she followed due process. But if she didn't, it might be a sad one for her, not just in Akwa Ibom State, but also in Lagos State, as we have seen. And then talking about courtism in Edo State, I believe that the governor is responding to the cries of the people by ensuring that he demolished the building of those cultists, allegedly as it is being said. And so if the people are crying, he's a governor of the state, and it is his responsibility that they are safe, and all that has to do with them is also safe as well. So if the people are saying we are not feeling safe, we are not secure, our children are joining these groups, and it is not healthy for our state, he will do the needful, and I believe it's a step in the right direction. But more needs to be done. He has asked these people to bring evidence of everything they said they had done, building schools or renovating schools. Let that conversation keep on going, and then he can address this matter holistically.
There is nothing Musa will not see for Gates. Because I'm beginning to wonder when cultism or cultists are beginning to act like community builders. It's an oxymoron, you know, for me, paradoxical. Because how would you say cultism, you know, it's now, if you go to Edo State is suffering from, you know, not just, you know, when you talk about insecurity, their own form of insecurity, apart from others, is more of cultism related. So I do not know what form the black acts, or what do they call them, what they want to do, that they're saying that yes, we've built schools, we are renovating schools, or whatever it is, and even the governor asking them to bring proof. Proof for what? If
he wanted to give a level playing field.
What level playing field to what? Excuse me, you are the governor, you need to take the right step. One of the tweets said you need to treat them, you know, as who they are. Moving away from there, going to Akwa Ibom, I think when we begin to talk about development and all of that, we should try to draw the line. Is it development for the elites? Because of course we all call for development, and we know that some people will suffer for it. But I think we need to revisit the Land Use Act of 1973. I guess it's outdated. If the government is saying, yeah, this is my land, this is our land, you know, an acquisition and all of that, how do we now begin to think about humanity? Because when you displace these people, they will now join the teeming number of people on the streets, you know, who are homeless.
But the government put in place processes to acquiring land.
Yeah, that's why I said we probably need to revisit the Land Use Act. There are ways of doing things. What are the you know, means of compensation and all of that? So I believe the government should put humanity first. That's that. OBO for governor, maybe, but I want to slightly disagree with you. I guess it could be a push by Ben Morebros, you know, for OBO. Maybe one way or the other, they meet, you know, this elite, they have the ways of meeting. He might be preparing it. See, he already has that ancestry. He's not going to learn politics. His uncle is already, Ademola Adeleke, is already dancing through politics. He might now singing through politics. You know, so are we now going to be seeing OBO for governor, or the next level tour Osun edition for, you know, Davido? So, but maybe, but you know, if you look at it from Ukraine, you mentioned Desmond Elliott, from Ukraine, Zelensky, you know, who was a comedian, and then Desmond Elliott, who was an actor, and then come down to Nigeria.
We saw Banky W run for an office.
Celebrity leadership, that's what the word is now.
What is the push about? What's the push for? Davido already has the numbers, he has the following, he has everything you
but you know that
working for him.
Yeah, 30 million followers on, is it YouTube or thereabout generally? I guess they are not all eligible voters in Osun State. So, of course, they have to push the drive.
If you ask me...
State, let's also remember that.
But you might be building a protege when it comes to politics.
Please, and I think if you ask me, Ben Murray Bruce being a media mogul, this is an attempt
and a politician
to dialogue with the youth. If you ask me,
absolutely.
He's trying to open our minds to possible leadership futures.
Especially for celebrity leadership.
In our next story, unfortunately, a deeply unsettling video making the rounds on social media has shed light on the growing danger of online child exploitation. In the footage, an African man who's believed to be Nigerian is seen being confronted and arrested by security agents after allegedly attempting to meet a minor for sex. Now, according to reports, the suspect had initiated contact with the underage girl through an online platform. Take a look at this exchange between him and British police.
My darling, I'm not
your darling.
I'm not here to argue.
I'm not your darling.
Did you understand? I'm not here to argue with you.
No, you're here to meet a child to have sex. That's what you're here for.
God of mercy.
Yeah? God have mercy. I hope he has no mercy on you.
Are you here illegally? Or are you here legally?
Yeah.
Did you come with documentation when you come to this country?
Yeah. I'm here legally.
So you're here legally, so that's fine.
So I'm not a bad person.
Well,
you see in your job that you do, yeah? You come into contact with children?
Over time, this man allegedly made inappropriate advances to the minor, ultimately arranging to meet her in person. What he did not realize was that law enforcement had been monitoring his conversations and were waiting at the agreed meeting point. The man, who claims to work with the elderly and reside legally in the country, admitted during questioning that he had been speaking with the minor for at least 3 months, and that tells me that he had time to do due diligence. It is, however, inspiring to see that there are stringent digital protection laws for minors abroad. Recently, the British government just yesterday announced more stringent immigration laws. People like this should not be allowed into the country. I get where they're coming from. Let's take a look at social media. Eriolua says, an undisciplined man is like a city without walls. How can you talk to kids? I don't pity any molester. He deserves whatever is coming his way. You know you're talking to a kid, and yet you can't even protect them from themselves by telling them to stop talking to random men online. There you are, taking advantage of her. That is so irresponsible. He should serve some jail time before his deportation. And throw away the keys. We'll take one more tweet. Mary Gunner says, the rubbish they were escaping with in Nigeria, even bragging about it, is catching up with them abroad. This is very interesting. Stereotypes like these and people like this give us a bad name, and they add to the bad press that is mounting. And then you see stringent immigration laws and you wonder why they're wary when the crime rates like this are rising.
I guess his village people followed him there, and that's why he has now been caught in the web of his actions. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but I like the fact that he has been caught and he should face the full wrath of the law. Perhaps they even need to probe his activities with the elderly he says he's been working with. And like you rightly pointed out, Olamide, these are the reasons why immigration laws are being tightened to cut off these kinds of people.
I think his sexual immorality actually led him to that. Don't let us always blame village people. That's why some people don't want to go back to village. So his sexual immorality, pushed him to that. I did not even realize the story happened in a way abroad. And this is one of the reasons, when they are clamping down on the blacks or non-nationals of these countries and say they want to send them back to the country because of crimes, even though they themselves commit this crime, but they will always, emphasize it when it's someone else. But the thing is, crime has no race. Right. Crime is a crime. We must deal with it. And, kudos to the man. Go face the tune.
Shame on him.
Of course. Anyway, thank you, Olamide, for those stories. This is where we have to draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all persons at the and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is your view with the ladies, and afterwards this morning with Yori Folarin. Stay safe. Bye.